The legacy ERP software industry is something that's changing rapidly, and not all incumbent ERP providers are going to survive it. What I want to talk about here today in today's video is the story of a technology turnaround and how this particular CEO is leading the turnaround from a legacy ERP provider into an AI provider suited for the future. My name is Eric Kimberly. I'm the CEO of Third Stage Consulting. We're an independent and tech agnostic consulting provider that helps clients throughout the world with their digital transformation journeys. And in today's video, I want to talk with a CEO who is leading the turnaround of a legacy ERP provider, a company that was started in the late 70s, pursued the traditional legacy ERP business model that has survived decades. And now here in the 2020s, the company and this particular leader has decided to take the company in a different direction to meet the needs of customers today in today's AI-driven world. And I want to tell the story and let him tell the story of that turnaround, that transformation, what that looks like, the good, the bad, the ugly. And joining me for this discussion is Sanjay, the CEO of QAD. So Sanjay, thanks for being here today.
Well, thank you, Eric, for joining us in our office here in Miami. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, glad to be here. And before we jump into the conversation, I want to encourage the audience here, if you are interested in AI, be sure to also check out the CFO's Guide to Manufacturing AI. It's a guide you can find for free. Just scan the QR code right here, or you can go to the links below, and that'll be a good augmentation to today's conversation. But before we jump into this transformation story, the tech transformation story, tell us a little bit about your upbringing. How did you end up at QAD, and what's your history in this industry?
Yeah, great. Well, look, I started my career in manufacturing, actually, understanding the shop floor, and over the years have spent most of my career working in industrial companies, manufacturing companies, really helping them implement technology. So I spent literally 16 years at IBM, kind of implementing technology for manufacturers. And prior to QAD Red Zone, I was the CEO of Software AG, company that does database management and middleware technology, and also had a lot of focus around the industrial sector. Yeah, so
Right. So how did that background and that upbringing set you up and prepare you for this transformation role that you're in right now?
well, I would say at IBM, I kind of learned scale, execution, discipline, and enterprise customers. That was kind of something that was IBM was very famous for. And then at Software AG, I learned transformation, because we were taking a company that was a traditional, had legacy and an old software company, and we're converting it into a subscription and SaaS and a modern software company. And it's not so much about just the technology change. It is so much more about culture, how you build things, how do you sell things, how do you serve your customers. And so I learned transformation there, and the fact that transformation is not just strategy only, but it's also literally about discipline and execution. And then, as I said, manufacturing is my passion. And at QAD, I was excited and attracted to QAD because I think it's a company that has a trusted customer base, a very strong manufacturing DNA, so domain expertise, but along the way somewhere had lost a little bit of their confidence, in terms of not being able to talk about a bold vision, a bold story, and being able to deliver on that bold story. And so I felt that there was an opportunity here to take that fantastic heritage and that domain expertise in manufacturing and transform this company to an AI manufacturing leader. So
Right. So knowing that you grew up in the world of manufacturing, that's where your heart is, it's where your passion is. What is it that led you to QAD in particular? Why did you decide to join, and why did you want to take on this challenge?
yeah, well, yeah, so I really like manufacturing, and when this opportunity came up, I saw a company that has great heritage, great trusted customer base, strong manufacturing DNA, and domain expertise. But somewhere along the way, lost a bit of their confidence, and then that is manifested in the way the customers perceive the company, etc. But I felt that there was a great opportunity here to build on that domain expertise, that manufacturing DNA, and really transform this company into an AI manufacturing software company. And so that kind of really excited me. And I have to say, the other thing that I was super pumped up about is Red Zone. And I've never seen in my career a software as exciting as Red Zone. So I felt that was also very exciting to come to.
Right. Good opportunity. Yeah. So you're relatively new to this role. You've been the CEO now for just over a year. What did you walk into? Tell me about day one, week one, month one. What did you walk into? What kind of culture? What were you hearing from customers? What were you hearing from employees? Just give us a lay of the land of what you were trying to change when you got here.
Yeah, I mean, like I think when I came in, there was obviously great people, good customer base and good products, but there wasn't really, there was a missing ambition, and I think that was what was kind of exciting in some ways to be able to bring that ambition and bring that clarity. So it's about being a bit more clear about what are the hills to climb, and they're not just one hill, and there is a sequence of hills, and how do we take this company to that destination. And that was very exciting, that we could take that DNA of the company, that manufacturing pedigree, that domain expertise, and actually build upon that, and transform the company into an AI manufacturing company. And so that was kind of what I saw when I came in.
Right. What about customers? What were they saying, and what were you learning from the customer base at QAD, and what problem statement were you trying to solve in part of this transformation effort?
Yeah, I mean, I think the customers were. And actually, I spent literally my first 100 days were pretty much on the road, going and meeting customers, and customers gave some very clear messages, and they said, look, they obviously had a lot of you know. Time for QAD Red Zone. They really appreciated the domain expertise, but they wanted to see more innovation from the company. They wanted to see speed and response and urgency from the company. And so the message was, we appreciate the trust that has been built, but we want to see this company help us accelerate into the AI world. We want to see how innovation can come much faster, and how we can get capabilities from QAD with speed to value and low risk and low TCO. So
Right. Right. Yeah, and what's really impressive about this transformation is thinking back through my career, I don't recall a tech company that has made such a profound pivot in its journey. And I think I mentioned to you
yeah,
in preparing for this discussion
yeah,
that in some ways I don't recognize the new QAD. I mean that
yeah,
in a positive way, right?
yeah.
It's just so different. There's new capabilities. It's AI driven. Have you had time yet, knowing that you move so quickly and this is such a fast turnaround that you've been working on? Have you had time to reflect on the impact it's had on the organization and on your customers?
Well, I mean, I think customers had definitely had a perception, and I think the perception was a bit around, this is a legacy software company, and what is the direction? Where are we going? And of course, you can ignore perception, but I think we took time to really listen and understand, what is behind that perception. And I think as I said, there are things that we had to work on, and we had to focus the company on. And I said to the team that hey, let's take these things on board. Let's not focus on trying to let's say that a perception is not correct. Let's focus on reality, and let's make reality happen in such a way that then perception doesn't have a choice but to change. And so that's what we've been doing for the last 14 months, really working on the things that we have to improve, and do a better job at serving our clients, and in parallel bringing innovation fast to the clients. And I think we're starting to see that feedback come through from the clients, both in terms of one, just kind of assurance that this is the right direction and the customers are on board with the direction, but then most importantly in the numbers. And so we've seen great results as we come out in the first quarter of this financial year.
Right. Now you've been on my podcast recently to talk
Yeah,
about some of the pivots you've made. Some of the tools you're providing manufacturers, some of the feedback you've gotten from manufacturers. We cover a lot of that. And one of the things we also talked about in the podcast interview is how one size does not fit all
yeah,
necessarily. Yet, most of your competitors and most ERP vendors in the space right now are moving towards a one size fits all cloud SaaS model because it's scalable for them, it's more profitable in many ways. What made you guys decide to go a different direction, really the opposite direction of the one size fits all model?
Yeah, I think it's really about listening to our customers. Trying to understand what's important for our customers and how to meet them where they are. And I listen to our when we listen to our customers, effectively, our customers don't want to go through a very large transformation and business disruption to be able to access all the great capabilities from AI. They want to be able to use it right now with their landscape, where they are, and what capabilities they have right now. And so, therefore, we decided that it was important to meet them there, to be able to deliver AI to them, irrespective of the release that they are on, the version that they are on, but allow them access to the agents and the orchestration layer. Let them get the ROI and the productivity uplift or the efficiency impacts of AI, and at the same time use some of those benefits to be able to fund and to be able to do their modernization at the pace that they can do without disrupting their business. And I think that is something that our customers really appreciate a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, optionality,
Yeah.
flexibility, lower risk, potentially lower cost, lower time,
Yeah.
speed to value. A lot of those things that we all aspire to, but a lot of times in this industry, I think manufacturers feel like, well, we have to modernize our entire tech stack first,
Yeah.
then we could get AI. But what you guys are saying is, well, hold on, let's look at what you've got, let's
Yeah.
meet you where you are, to use your points, and let's figure out how we can
Yeah.
potentially.
And I think AI gives that opportunity, and it allows us to be able to help our customers with the investments that they've already made, the custom builds that they've already done, which could well be differentiation or their own secret sauce. So
Right,
yeah.
right. So let's talk about secret sauce for a
Yeah.
moment. I think that's something that gets lost in this industry, and it's an interesting part of your turnaround. And it goes back to your point of meeting customers to where they are. And every customer has secret sauce. They have something that's unique to them, something that's your core differentiator. And a lot of times in the technology industry, that stuff gets dismissed. It gets thrown aside. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, that's not best practice. That's legacy thinking. Just use our best practice off the shelf software. Whereas you guys are saying, no, actually, we're recognizing that manufacturers in particular have secret sauce, competitive differentiators. Is that a surprising message to customers? Is it refreshing? Is it out of sync with what they're hearing from other vendors? Like how is that message received in the industry?
Well, as I said, we were really focused and maniacal about what is what are the barriers for our customers to actually adopt innovation or adopt AI. And one of the things that we heard many times were, hey, I've got these things that I've built, these are things and custom extensions that I've built that are really, really important for my business. And, I'm worried about how this is going to move with the future. Will it work with AI? Can I take it across, etc.? And so, of course, there are certain things that are built because manufacturing plants are different. You know, every plant in a different geography is different, has unique characteristics, and that's something about manufacturing that one has to realize. It's not a one size fits all. But when you think about these extensions and then the risk that the business or the manufacturing leadership have to take, you got to get this risk off the table, and that's the one that we worked on. So we built a tool, an AI tool that actually understands the custom extensions that our customers have made. Documents down this secret sauce for them to say, look, there is a capability you built, and we will ensure that you can carry this capability forward. It can be rewritten in a low code, no code platform for you that works with the AI capability, or your AI can work with your existing extensions so that that differentiation, that secret sauce can be carried forward. Not only can it be carried forward, you then have our tool, we give you our tool so that you continue to keep building that secret sauce. Because things will change, business will move. Things are so dynamic, and you will need to build certain things that are very unique for your particular situation and to beat competition. So
Right. So when you look at this transformation, we've talked about how it affects your customers, how customers are responding to it. What's been the most difficult part internally with making these changes and going through this transformation?
well, I think sense of urgency, I would say, right? With companies that are established, have a certain amount of heritage or legacy, whichever way you want to look at it, people tend to get comfortable with the way things have been done in the past, the way things had worked. And so infusing that sense of urgency and that change is essential. So, I don't know, somebody said change and comfort don't coexist, right? So that I think is the toughest part, and for me also, that was the part that was very essential, but a tough one to do to allow us to, have a very honest conversation of exactly where we are, what are the decisions that have to be taken, tough ones, but why, and what are the actions that follow through with that. I think that creating that sense of urgency within the organization that we do not have 5 years. We have to do this transformation. We have to do it right now. AI, the market, the competitors, the customers are not going to wait for anybody.
And QAD has been a successful company. It's not as though the company was struggling when you took over. So that I imagine makes it in some ways more difficult because if I'm an employee, I think everything's working great. You were profitable, we're growing, we've got a good customer base. And so instilling that sense of urgency at a time when it's not panic mode, but you still have to light a fire under people. And that sounds like that was a challenge.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it's about how do we set the company up for the future? How do we stop comparing ourselves to traditional ERPs, but actually set ourselves as the benchmark of being an AI manufacturing platform? How do we make sure that QAD Red Zone is a leader, has a voice in how the future of manufacturing is going to be? I think that is a different level and a different ambition that we had. So changing the pace in the company to be able to suit that ambition or go after that ambition, that is the tougher part. So
Right. So what are your plans for the next year? You're a little over a year in. You've made tremendous progress, a lot of changes with the product, your presence in the marketplace, internally, culturally. You've made all these changes, a lot of good progress. What's on the roadmap for the next 14 months plus?
well, I mean, the last 5 months have been amazing in terms of the speed at which the world has changed, and I think the 14 months, next 14 months will be also very, very rapid, or let's say there'll be a lot of change. But I think for QAD Red Zone point of view, and I think three things will be really important. One is, having more AI native products and more AI into our products, and in delivering that. Number two is, how do we get that to our customers, deliver value faster for our customers at a lower risk and a low TCO? Very important. And then the third thing is, how does QAD Red Zone have a clear leadership voice in shaping the future of manufacturing? How do we play an important role in bringing AI to manufacturing, making it accessible, fast, speed to value, and meeting the manufacturers where they are? Giving them opportunity to be able to take innovation without disrupting the businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, really a tremendous turnaround. So I appreciate you taking the time here to chat about it and discuss the good, the bad, the ugly, the difficult stuff. And it's a good lesson not only for those that are involved with technology companies, but even any sort of leader that's going through a transformation, a digital transformation of their own in a manufacturer
Yeah.
or a non-manufacturing company. I think there's a lot of good lessons here. So thank you for being here to share your
Sure.
time and
My pleasure to spend
lessons.
time with you. Thank you, Eric. Yeah.
Absolutely. And if you'd like to learn more about AI and how it fits in the world today, be sure to check out the CFO's Guide to Manufacturing AI. You can find that by scanning the QR code right here or go to the links below. And I'd love to hear from you. What do you see in the future of ERP and AI? How do you see the two coexisting? How do you see them potentially separating? Love to hear your feedback in the comments below. So I hope you found this video useful and hope you have a great day.